Nintendo holds a very near and dear place in my heart because that was the company that inducted me into video games. It all started with Nintendo back in the late 90s with both the Nintendo Entertainment System that was passed down to me and my brother from my parents, as well as our very first console, the Nintendo 64, which my brother technically got, but I was living within the generation where that console was released. Not the NES, that was my parents. I was part of the N64 generation. And then from then on, I went over to the GameCube, and that was the first console that I managed to receive as a gift and was actually mine, my belonging, and I played it non-stop. Unfortunately, I didn't feel the same kind of admiration for the Wii, and let alone the Wii U, but finally the Switch. We got the Nintendo Switch, and when it was first unveiled back in October with that 3-minute trailer, I knew that there was something about it that I felt very comfortable with, and I'm like, you know what, I definitely need this. But we need to know a little bit more. The release date, the lineup, as well as the price, and all the technical aspects about the system. Finally, Nintendo had their press conference, they unveiled it, now we know the majority of everything. And now here is my video talking about what we know so far and what we should kind of speculate and possibly even fear about the Nintendo Switch. So right now I'm going to show you a screen grab. Yes, I pre-ordered the motherfucker. It's under my belt. It's not necessarily paid for because it's pre-ordered, but I do have one on reserve. However, I'm not necessarily hooraying myself down the street like, oh my god, I got a Nintendo Switch. I mean, I am proud of it because I do really have confidence in the system. I really love the aspect of being able to take this system wherever you go. Not only can you play a 1080p game on your TV here at home as a console, as a regular console, but then you could just snap on those little controllers and take it with you on a 720p screen and be able to play what was originally just locked in as a console game, and now you can take it wherever you go. That concept alone was what won me over back in October with that initial trailer. But as time went on, leading up to the conference that we just had, there were rumors spreading around here and there, from the price point to the release date to even the quantity of consoles that each retailer was going to receive. And now certain things have been answered, and then certain things are still left up to speculation. We now know that the console is $300. I personally would have loved for the console to be $249, $250. That would have been awesome, much more affordable, but at the same time I can understand why they went with $300. They have to make a little bit of a profit to make up for all the expensive qualities about the console, from the 1080p, the 720p resolution on the screen, to not only be able to be portable but also be a household console. It makes sense that they need to make something up on the back end. So $300, understandable. It could have easily been $400 in my opinion because of the technologies involved, but $300 definitely affordable. Personally, I would have preferred $250 because the cheapskate in me still lives, but I understand there needing to be a $300 price tag on it. Now, the other concern that I had, and it's probably the only thing that would tempt me into wanting to cancel my pre-order, is the lineup, the initial launch lineup. Not necessarily all that strong. There's a definitive killer app there to sell consoles, and that is Legend of Zelda. I was really happy that Legend of Zelda was announced to be releasing alongside the Switch on March 3rd, which is our release date, which is pretty early. I knew it was coming sometime in March, but March 3rd, like really, not only at the very beginning of the month, but the same day that Logan comes out, oh, my wallet's gonna hurt. But besides Zelda, what else are we really excited for the Switch? We got a new Super Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey, but that's not coming out until the holiday 2017. We do have Splatoon 2. I skipped out on the first Splatoon because it was for the Wii U. I was kind of adamant about the Wii U. There were moments where I was tempted to get myself a Wii U, but now with the Switch, I'm like, okay, definitely happy that I did not pour that money into the Wii U, and now I'm taking it over to the Switch. It looks like a much more confident investment. But Splatoon 2 is not slated until probably sometime in the summer 2017, so we still need to wait for that. And then we have Skyrim, which I was tempted to get the remaster for the PS4, but now it looks like maybe I could get it for the Switch. That's not coming out until sometime in the fall. It's only Zelda that's coming out during the initial lineup, and even though that is a killer app in its own right, it doesn't have the strength that other launch titles have had with other consoles like the PS4 or even the Xbox One. I feel like there's been some stronger lineups before, not only within other consoles but also within Nintendo itself, the GameCube especially, and I do think that something else needs to come along the line. They really need to fill in those gaps leading up to the holiday season in 2017 when we do get that Mario. That makes the Switch even worth it, because once I finish up Zelda and I do a little bit of the side quests, if nothing else gets released by that time, I really don't know if I'm going to be revisiting my Switch all that frequently, and like I said, that's the only thing that tempts me into canceling my pre-order and just waiting until probably the end of the year. But then at the same time, I know that as the year goes on, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find a Switch when we do get closer to that holiday season, more birthdays come around, and more of that Christmas shopping incentive gets put into people's minds, which then leads me to my other little scare, which I know it doesn't personally scare me because I did manage to get my pre-order in, but then it could also affect other people. I still feel for other people if this issue should arise, and that's the same issue we had with the classic NES. The limited quantity of consoles that will get shipped to certain retailers. Right now, there's no specific detail that pulls us away from that scare that, oh, there's only going to be a limited amount of consoles, especially when we do get closer to that holiday release date and we got a new Mario game, we got a new Zelda game, and then we'll get probably some new Pokemon games by the end of 2017 on the Switch. Maybe we'll get ourselves another Pokemon Coliseum. You guys remember the Coliseum game? Pokemon Coliseum for the GameCube? That was an awesome game. What's going to stop Nintendo from releasing a game like that? But then you got limited consoles, and everyone's going to be reaching out for like, oh my god, it's a console, it's a Nintendo Switch. Moments before I started filming this video, I went on Best Buy to see if you could still buy the game. It is currently out of stock, but it does say coming soon. It doesn't say sold out like the classic NES Mini does. It actually says coming soon, so maybe more shipments are going to be arriving, more notifications to retailers will be reached from Nintendo saying, hey, we do have more consoles, we are manufacturing way more, so they are coming, and those pre-order links are going to be active once more a little bit later on down the line. But at the same time, we don't know for certain. You know, things could change. Games get delayed. Certain shortages in stock could happen. So still, despite having a pre-order myself, that could still affect certain people who were anticipating the Switch or who were waiting, just like I am tempted to do. They looked at the lineup and said, you know what? I think I'm going to wait until later, and then they're going to regret that decision because then Nintendo pulls the rug right underneath their feet and say, oh yeah, we're only shipping those quantities for now. It's going to take a while for us to manufacture more units, and then they're screwed. And that could still happen. Even though I'm remaining optimistic, I'm still not ruling out the possibility of that happening. Now, there are some technical specs to this whole console, and one of the ones that kind of worries me that at first doesn't necessarily bother me when you read that little description on their articles, on their little press releases, but now looking at in a broader picture does kind of worry me, and that's the battery life. They say that the battery life is going to depend on what game you are playing at the time, and they threw in some ranges in there. They're saying it could range from 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, to 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours sounds good, but then you think about the games that are coming and which games are likely to drain your battery more. Zelda is going to be a motherfucker. I can personally guarantee you that Zelda is going to be within that 2.5 to 3 hour range. And after that, your thing's going to die and you're going to be forced to hook up to that dock and play it only at home or only at a friend's house and not be able to play it on the go like you would have imagined. And those 6.5 hour games that are going to last that long on your console, they're probably going to be saved up for some of the more plain stuff, like some turn-based games, or probably like another Pokemon style game where the graphics are a little bit dialed down, but it's more about the gameplay. And I understand that sometimes gameplay can triumph over graphics. Like the gameplay could be awesome, and that alone can make for a great game. But at the same time, if it's draining the battery, that can also cause certain frustrations. Even though it doesn't sound like it right now, later on, you're going to be like, oh my god, my battery's dying, it's blinking. Oh my god, I need to save, But then there might be some games that don't have the automatic save. You need to get to like a certain point and save right there, like a Poke Center or whatever. You need to get to those places and save. And I feel like there's going to be some occasions, there's going to be some games that people are going to complain and be like, my battery died, I didn't save, and people are going to be frustrated. But now let's look at some of the brighter things that Nintendo Switch is going to be bringing us. First of all, the console comes out in March. I was talking about how Splatoon 2 doesn't come out until the summer. The summer is literally only like 2-3 months away from that. So once we get the Switch, and probably once we beat Zelda, not only do we have some other games that will keep us occupied in other consoles, but then once we beat those, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect Andromeda, all those games, South Park, Fractured But Whole, I can't say that name without smiling. Then boom, we got some more games for the Switch. And also, there's some games that, sure, they don't necessarily appeal to me and in terms of face value, like the Fire Emblem games or the Dragon Quest, as well as like Xenoblade, Universal Xenoblade 2, whatever it's called. those games don't necessarily appeal to me, but maybe if I were to try out like a demo or something like that, and maybe they're at a discount, I'll buy them for the Switch, add more games to my library for the Switch, and then I'll end up actually loving them more than I thought I was going to. And also the play styles that they were kind of showcasing during the presentation, they really do intrigue me. The fact that you can not only play like a regular console, you can hook up the Joy-Cons, as they're calling them, to the little grip here and play it like a regular console, but then you can also take that wherever. Like, oh my god, this possibility, this feature alone really blows my mind, because there's been numerous instances where I want to play a game, but then I'm called either to work, or I'm called over to someplace, or even my girlfriend wants to hang out, and there's not enough time for me to like grab the console. Like, if she is down to play video games, but I don't have that amount of time, and I'm in a hurry, and I can't grab the PS4, I can't grab my Xbox, because they're like humongous, well, they're not humongous things, but they're really sizable things that I need to fit into my backpack, all these cables, blah. Switch. That's going to remedy that instantly. I could just hook it up, grab it, put it in my pocket, and then we could just play Zelda, play some other game at her place or one of my friends' place or something like that. That is awesome. Not only that, not only can it be a portable where I can just play like this on the little screen that's on the console itself, but also be able to put it up on the little kickstand and use the little Joy-Cons as little controls, as like little nunchucks, to be able to play whatever game it is that I'm playing, and that's awesome. And just because the lineup doesn't look good right now doesn't mean that between now and March 3rd, there aren't going to be some Nintendo Directs. I believe I just saw an article not too long ago on IGN saying there's going to be a Fire Emblem Nintendo Direct next week. Just next week. So right there, they're going to announce a brand new Fire Emblem game. It's going to be available for the Switch. In fact, they say that there's going to be a new one. But this new Direct is going to show you all the features, showcase more gameplay, showcase a bunch of things about the game that's going to entice people to want to get a Switch along with Zelda. Plus that collector's edition with that statue. I'm so tempted. Of course, that does bring up the little bit of skepticism when it comes to third-party developers. Of course, we know that first-party developers for the Switch are going to be supported, like with the new Zelda game, new Pokemon game, new Zelda game. But what about third parties? There's an awful lot of third-party developers that are very enthusiastic about the Switch, and they're developing accessories, developing brand new games for the engine so that it's going to be able to run not only on the TV, but also on the little screen, and be able to run smoothly and be able to play really well. But at the same time, there's other developers that are really holding back, or either that or they're just going to wait a while. And sure, you could look at a glass half full and be like, oh my god, there's going to be some great games coming for the Switch, but then the glass half empty side tells you, yeah, but how long are we going to have to wait for those games to come out? 2018, 2019? But Nintendo has shown that they could surprise. So between now and March 3rd, and probably later on down the line, and within this year at least, there's going to be some Nintendo Directs saying, boom, brand new brand new Bayonetta game, or brand new RPG that you weren't expecting before, a new killer app, a brand new property. Certain things that you never expected to come down the pipeline may just be announced within like a week or so, within this time slot that we wait up until the release date, the release of the Nintendo Switch, and boom, there's a reason to buy it. So those are my thoughts, my initial thoughts on the Nintendo Switch. I am very supportive of the console. I'm very enthusiastic about it, but at the same time, there's little things here and there that really reminisce of why the Wii U failed, but at the same time, why the Wii succeeded. I feel like there's an amalgamation of both of those strategies working here in favor and at the same time against the Switch, but more so on the favorable side. I feel like it's a 65-35% ratio going on. But I feel like this is probably the most ambitious thing that Nintendo has done for quite some time, and it's definitely something that I think they need to pay attention to an awful lot in 2017 should the company want to succeed, because I really do think that they got something really awesome here, just as long as they put all their work and effort and passion, most importantly, into this console, just like they did with past consoles like the N64 and the GameCube. So please let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the Nintendo Switch reveal or the presentation that Nintendo did. Do you want a Nintendo Switch? Do you guys have one on pre-order already? And for those of you who have one on pre-order, do you have an incentive to want to cancel that pre-order, whether it be the lineup or the battery life, or just plain simply you want more colors? You're tired of this gray, you want some more fucking colors. Anything, just let me know in the comments below, like and share this video, and please subscribe for future vlogs talking about all the latest things, especially in the gaming world like this. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter at DarkSpiderDavid, as well as on Instagram, DarkSpiderDavid. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.